Greetings, humanoids of the internet. My name is Bob. He's laughing. And this is episode 12 of Journey into Space. In this episode, we are going to continue our journey on to Duna. Hopefully place an airplane in Duna's atmosphere and do a polar exploration by the air. Now there are 4 main points of failure from this point on. The first point of failure is I could I could not make use of the booster I have to get out of Kerbin's gravity, and that would waste fuel, and that could be a problem. That's not usually typically. I don't think it's really a critical problem, but it could be a problem. So that's one. I could not be able to use the remaining gas that's in the booster tank. That's a minor fail. The second fail is I could fail to do a proper aerobraking maneuver at Duna and waste gas that way. That would be a second fail. Third fail, most potentially fail-prone fail of all, is if Duna's atmosphere is not suitable for me getting that airplane down to a speed where it can start flying instead of falling and hitting the ground and exploding. That would be a critical fail. Now I've got some parachutes. I just tested them just now, and so that's probably going to help me if all else fails. So that's the third potential source of fail, which is airplanes on Duna just don't work well. Fourth potential cause of fail would be if the spaceship was eaten by the babies of the space kraken, which is always a possibility. So let's get started. Okay, I've got everything aligned, and now I've got to somehow get my my attitude shifted over prograde, and I'll be ready to head on out of Kerbin's orbit. Kerbin's orbit. Kerbin's orbit. Okay, stay there, please. Please. Stay there. Not there, here. Thank you very much. Let's fire it up. There it is. What a bizarre construction. Yeah, stop. Okay. That's that for those tanks. Let me see if I've got my staging right. Okay. That's promising. Okay, and the nuclear-powered segment powers away. Thank you, boosters, and farewell. Now this is very low-powered here. We only got 2 of these engines to propel the whole thing, so it's going to take a little while for it to get going. Make sure it's not overheating. Nope, good so far. Oh, nope, no. Don't overheat. I really like the look of those engines, man. Nuclear power! Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. The excess thrust was heading in the right direction, so that's good anyway. That's a plan. Okay, let's go ahead and escape from Kerbin. Escape from Kerbin. Now I can't actually steer this thing unless I actually have the engine running, which is probably not really a good design feature to have. Not being able to steer your ship unless the motor's going. But I think it will be okay for now. Okay. Let's get burning out to Duna. And this may take a while. Okay, come here. Look at that shit, man. That's almost perfect. Not quite. I overshot a little bit. So I didn't leave here quite early enough. But that's pretty damn good, man. Usually I overshoot by quite a bit much because I'm eager not to fall behind. Because if you fall behind, let's say if I didn't make this rendezvous at all, if Duna was faster than me or got to the rendezvous point before me and I wasn't able to make a connection, I'd be screwed. Whereas if I was a little bit behind, I can always compensate for that. But this was pretty darn close. Not perfect, but pretty damn good for the eyeballs, you know, for eyeballs only. Okay, I'm going to try to adjust my encounter with Duna a little bit. Probably going to be a little boring, and I will let you know when something happens. Nope, that doesn't help. Okay. Screw it. We're going to wait until we get closer. Okay, it's bringing it down a bit, but that somehow it's I'm thinking I probably don't have the attitude quite right on. I was bringing it down, but it's bringing it down kind of slowly. It does appear to be doing it, though. Alright, that's helping now. Gotta keep on working it. And it looks like I'll probably be getting right into a polar orbit. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, I've got to make this aerobraking encounter with Duna because it looks like as soon as I'll leave Duna, I'll be, oh, that's Ike. Oh, it's Ike again. Okay, never mind. Thought it was going to be escape, but Ike is not a problem. I like Ike. Not that I'm trying to go there, just that I was worried about how quick I had to react to any shortcomings in my aerobraking. But no problems. No problemos. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for now and wait until I come in closer to do my final adjustments to aerobrake. And I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Actually, you'll be back in just a second. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And I'm back. And there it is. Duna, the red planet. The other red planet. Kind of like the other white meat. Okay, we're aiming to get this down to, whoa, slow down. Get this down to 15,000 meters. You may occasionally notice a slight shudder in the video, like I've cut out a small part and then started again. That's because I've got some sinus issues, and so I'm probably making some kind of horrible noise right when that happens, and that's why you may notice some disjointedness in the video sometimes. I don't want to subject you to my horrible sinus sounds. Okay, now let's see if we can bring that down to 15,000 meters. Actually, let's see if we can do this more efficiently. Let's point this way, and let's see, this way and down a bit. Okay, it's all about efficiency. And our target altitude is 15,000 meters. That's going to be a very nice polar orbit right there. It's going to be low enough to airbrake into orbit, not so low that I get stuck in Duna's gravity and pull at the surface. So that's our target altitude, is 15,000 meters. And hopefully, unlike some of our recent aerobraking maneuvers, this one will actually work. 17,650. Alright, that should be close enough. We'll be getting a great view of the polar regions as we slam into the atmosphere here. I'm going to go in ass first, so that if I need to make any kind of emergency maneuvers to stay in Duna's orbit, I'll be able to do that. But I'm hopeful that 15,000 meters is enough to get me to stay in Duna's orbit, and it's going to save me gas. Okay, time compress a little bit. Oh, you're not under acceleration. Still a good ways out, 36 million miles. But we're coming in hot. That's a fine looking little planet there, I think. Doesn't exactly look inviting, not like Lathy, but It's pretty. Nice color scheme. Alright. Making World War II sound effects. World War II aircraft sound effects. I think that's very suitable here somehow. Very fitting. Alright. We're going in on normal speed now. And there is the North Pole of Duna. Big as life. It's kind of exciting, isn't it? It's thrilling. Thrilling adventure. Thrilling adventure in space. Oh, babies of the spacecraft, don't attack me now. Come on. Ah, there's Ike. That's cool. Screenshot. Alrighty, slamming into the atmosphere backwards. Yep, we're getting atmosphere. But even the ice is a little bit red colored. That's kind of strange. That's very screenshot worthy. Very, very cool. Awesome. Floats my boat. Okay, let me take a look at the map. See what we got here. Still not closing off yet. We're not at 15,000 yet though. Uh-oh, don't lock up. That is so cool. I can't even describe how cool that is. Okay, we're at 14,000 now. What the fuck? I didn't really mean to go that low, but it's not breaking me. Yeah, well, yeah, it's starting to turn. Starting to turn here. Sorry I'm taking a million screenshots, but it just looks so cool, man. Look at that shit. Look at that shit, man. That is cool. Okay, we gotta pay attention to our piloting here. Okay. Okay, well, it's still bending me. At 16,000. Will it bend me all the way to orbit, though, is the question. I don't want to start braking now because I could wind up putting myself on a trajectory to go into the atmosphere, not into orbit. But I don't want to put it off too long either if we're not going to make it. We'll get set up to do our braking burn if we need to. Okay, 25,000. I'm willing to say that we're not making it yet. $30,000, yeah. We're almost out of the atmosphere. Time to kick it up a notch. Okay, well that was a partially successful aerobraking maneuver. Wasn't as successful as I would have liked, but it was certainly partially successful. And we're out of the atmosphere. I'm thinking 12,000 next time. I don't want to get down too low for my aerobraking, because you wind up having to spin propellant to stay in orbit. But 12,000 next time, I think. What's my fuel situation like? Oh, I got tons of fuel. Okay, I'm not going to bother with trying to get that down anymore. I'm just going to go out there, bring my periapsis up, and then next time around I will. No, next time around I'll probably just go into Duna. Awesome. I gotta do this right quick. Screenshots. Mucho screenshots. Okay. Alrighty. Now, what I want to do is I want to sort of enter the atmosphere sort of right around here. So it'll be sunny enough and sort of near that edge too. I kind of want to explore that. Alright, that's good enough. In a perfect world, I want to come in at a nice gentle angle too. Lots more horizontal movement than vertical, if I can. Have the baby to the spacecraft and attack? No. That's a good reminder, though, to hit F5 and save. All right. Let's head down. Still got a ton of gas. Almost seems like a sin to waste it, but hey, those are the brakes. Next time, if I ever do this again, I will go with less fuel. I'd much rather have too much fuel than not enough. Obviously, that's the other sort of dumb. They really did need saying, you know. Like, I'd rather have more fuel than crash. Okay, I'm not that happy about that. I want to get more. I'm clipping into the planet too much. Probably should not even be touching the planet. It probably should be like down to 5,000 to 10,000 meters. Although I don't want to bump back out into orbit because I won't have the propulsion stage with me, so that would be kind of bad if that happened. But I don't like that. Don't like that angle too much. We'll aim for a periapsis of about 8,000, no, about 5,000 meters. Something where I'm sure it'll be low enough. Yeah, we'll stick with that. because the last thing I want to have happen is to be bumped back out into space. Okay, I guess this is when we cut the umbilical cord and say goodbye to our propulsion stage. No point in hanging on to it. Yeah, it kind of gives me some heebie-jeebies though, because the plane itself has no propulsion that's going to work in space. So it's just a dumb projectile until it hits the atmosphere. But it has to be done, so. And of course that separation was like 0 meters a second. Don't scrape anything on your way past there, buddies. I think in future I'm going to use something with a little more kick than these things. There's not much kick. I guess the good news is it's moving so slow that it's not really going to damage anything, I don't think, when it hits it. Come on, get a little more apart. Bump. Clip. Don't tear my tail fin off. Or my landing gear. I need both of those things. Okay? I need both of those things. I would use a Sepratron, except those things can be as dangerous as helpful. You know? Okay, it's clear. And even though it's moving backward very slowly, by the time I actually get into the atmosphere, it'll be some good, reasonable distance back. So hopefully it won't ram into me. As we still got a good little while before we hit atmosphere. Yeah, those pylons suck. Like there was nothing was pushing it apart. It just slid backwards. That was bogus. If I use those again, I need to use Sepatrons with them. Emergency release. What does it say? Emergency release. Shinkanagawaka hangahawika. What the hell is that? That's nothing. That's a non-letter. I can tell emergency release. I can't tell the rest of it. Okay. Not that it's important. Okay, I will be much less vulnerable to the babies of the space Kraken now because I've left that part of it behind. The airplane is fairly simple, relatively speaking. I mean, actually, it's not very simple, but it's much simpler than the whole spaceship. So hopefully the babies of the space Kraken will not trouble me any further. And now we glide in. I tested out these parachutes here. They do work, and they do separate when called upon to do so. So that's good. And they don't jack up the orientation of the aircraft too much either. So if worse comes to worse, I'll deploy the chutes, let them slow me down a bit, then release them and try to fly on. Now you may be asking yourself, self, what is Bob going to do with all these astronauts that he's stranding on other planets? And the answer is that I do actually intend to have a video or series of videos to rescue them. That is not a high priority, but it is a priority, and I'm pretty sure that the other guys that are on Duna and the guys that are on Ike can probably get as far as orbit. So I can just send a carrier spacecraft to pick them up in orbit and take them back home safely to Kerbin. There are some other folks that I either don't care about ever getting back or maybe too difficult. The guy on Lethe, he's just there. He's the first colonist. Trying to get off of Lethe is just gonna be almost impossible. So he's the first colonist on Lethe, the first of many. Let's see who else we have. Is that it? The guy on Ike, guy on Duna, guy on Lethe. Actually, there's several guys. There's the first mission to Duna, and then there's this guy. Now, it's not going to be that difficult to send a rescue ship to pick him up, but he's got a long mission ahead of him, and I'm going to make the most of him, assuming that he or she, it's a Shellie, I guess it's a she, assuming that she survives this, I've got a long mission ahead of her. This aircraft has a proven ability to fly without fuel, which is a good thing. That's a very desirable attribute in a spacecraft. And so I'm going to have her exploring all to hell for a long time, so she's not getting a ride home anytime soon. Other guys on Duna and guy on Ike, I'm going to go pick up at some future episode. Guy on Lethe, just a permanent resident. It would just be almost impossible to get him off there, because while Lethe has a nice atmosphere and stuff, that's good for getting people there. It's got a very high mass as well, Kerbin scale mass. So getting anyone off Lethe probably not going to work, or at least it won't work without an abomination of nuclear science far beyond what I've ever done. So that's just cool looking, man. Check that out. That is righteous. Screenshot. Okay, 37,000 meters. 960 meters a second. Okay, those tanks are below me, so that's good. Not in the atmosphere. Well, yeah, actually I am in the atmosphere. Okay, and my goal on reentry is to move as little as possible, or try to make any kind of adjustments as little as possible or not at all, because when you're going real fast, that's when you're going to have issues with spinning out and stuff on reentry, and so I'd like to avoid that. So pretty much I'm just going to set it up about like this, and it's just going to stay there. A little bit lower. And it's just going to stay there unless I absolutely have to do a maneuver. Yeah, okay. I gotta get down a little bit. Okay. Okay, 25,000 meters. I won't get any kind of real significant braking until I get down to about 15,000. Yes, I'm a screenshot nut. Let's take a look now that we're getting down kind of low, see if we see any artifacts. Nothing right at the moment. Okay, I'm starting to slow down a little bit. Not very fast, but I'm starting to slow down a little bit. And thankfully those boosters are far below me now. Huh, pink ice. It's a pink thing. It's a giant pink thing. Pink thing is a iced confection that used to have at the at Six Flags over Texas back when I was a kid. Okay, no, you're starting to maneuver a little bit, or starting to wank around a little bit. I don't want that. Starting to wank around. Oof, cool. Ike rise. I might have to use these parachutes. I hope I won't have to use them, but I might wind up having to. I'm afraid I have to nose down a little bit. It could be dangerous. And I have no idea what the altitude is here. I guess if I start seeing some texture, I guess I best pull the parachute. Especially if I'm still going over 600 meters a second. Shellie, don't freak out. Nothing that freaking out's gonna accomplish at this point. Seriously. Seriously, homegirl. Freaking out's not gonna save you. You need to stay cool, calm, and collected. $14,000 meters. I got a nose down again, I'm afraid. Yeah, every time I do that, I visualize the whole thing spinning terribly out of control. Don't lock up. Oh, Shelley's happy now. Way to go, girl. You're gonna be okay. As long as your definition of okay is flying around Duna. Okay. Not slowing down real fast. And it looks like we're heading towards some relatively high altitude areas. So that's not good. I think we'll fly over them, but still. That is a cool terrain, man. I dig it. I've got to risk nosing down. Okay, the air's starting to bite a little harder now. Down to 540. And it looks like we're heading towards a relatively flat area. This is going to be tense because I don't even know for sure that this can be done. I mean, I know that that Duna's atmosphere is a lot thicker than Mars's is. Because if it was as thick as only as thick as Mars's atmosphere, parachutes for landing wouldn't do a whole lot for you. Whereas on our last expedition we used parachutes to good effect. So I know that the atmosphere of Duna is much more effective than the atmosphere of Mars. There's a little small peak there, and then looks like we got a lot of relatively low altitude areas. We'll have to fly back to the polar caps once we get situated. I'm seeing rocks. I'm seeing rocks. And I'm still going 380 meters a second. As long as I don't see terrain, or close-up terrain, we're going to stand pat and not use our parachutes. Only use our parachutes as a last resort. Because it could screw up our flight dynamics as far as staying in the air aerodynamically. We're not descending that fast. That's a good sign. We're still going fast, but we're not descending that fast. And for all I know, you have to go fast in Duna's atmosphere to stay aloft. So there's a whole lot of unknowns. A whole lot of unknowns. There are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. And right now, the unknown unknowns are outweighing most of the known unknowns. Yeah, we're not falling that fast. We're still going fast, but we're not falling that fast. So eventually, the atmosphere is going to slow us down to a reasonable speed, I think. We may have quite a little trek to get back to the poles. Okay, we got a ridge coming up and then another flat bit. This is kind of tense, man. Even though I have a quick save in orbit, you know, we've spent a lot of time trying to get here, and I'm a little tense. Okay, I've got to try to do another nose. Stop locking up, please. Thank you. I try to do another nose down. Yep, those are rocks. This is a nice low area, though. I think I probably need to stay at relatively, when I'm flying, I need to stay at relatively low altitude because the air here is not too thick. Okay, I'm slowing down real good now. Yeah, Shelley's happy. She's thinking, I'm not going to die after all. Maybe. I think we might be good. I'm getting down to a point where I can actually start considering maneuvering. Although on Kerbin this might still be a little fast, but let's give it a shot. How about that? Well, looking good. I think we're controllable. Still dropping pretty fast. What the hell was that? Whatever it was, it didn't sound good. I may have a trouble with the altitude here at these in this area because obviously the air is not too thick in the best of times. Okay, I'm increasing altitude. Success! Cheers, Shellie. Okay, I think if I can manage this carefully, I can stick to my zero fuel idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang in until we get to this top of this ridge, and then I'll probably stop the video until we can get back to the polar area. Oh, don't lie. Okay, I found out the hard way that high altitudes and this airplane don't mix that well. I tried to get out of the crater that I was in, but the crater wall was a little too high for me, and so I had a forced landing, so I restarted. Hopefully the polar regions, I think the polar regions may be also relatively high altitude areas, so we just have to kind of play that by ear. Worst case scenario is that we instead aim for this large area of crater-like areas instead of the polar area, but hopefully at least we'll get a chance to look at the polar areas first. Okay, I got the jets set up halfway, but as you see from the glow, there's just barely any combustion going on. But we're still going to try to make it to the poles on this episode. Next episode, I think I'm going to use a quick save and check out this whole connected crater area here instead, because this may just be a little too high in altitude. Okay, I appear to have gotten low enough to where my good glide characteristics are kicking in. I'm on physical time warp, and I'm still gaining altitude, although so is the ground. I got a hill coming up. So I'm starting to feel hopeful that I will actually be able to get back to the polar regions and at least take a look at those. But I do actually want to do that expedition to the craters as well. So I'm going to use my quick save for that once I'm done with the polar part of our expedition, and put a glider, or put the airplane down in that area, because that's probably going to be more suitable terrain for this, as far as having enough air and enough lift to be really useful. But right now it appears to be doing okay, and I will let you know when we get to the pole, get to the ice cap. Okay, we're approaching the ice caps. I think the deal with flying here is that there's no margin of error. There's no margin for failure. You're going to have to fly, you know, at most 300 feet off the ground. Looks like we're going to an area of even higher altitude. We may have to be more like 50 feet off the ground. And if you make any mistakes, you've got nothing to fall back on. The engines are just barely work. I've got them cut off right now, but the engines, when they are on, barely work at all. And so you've got no margin for mistakes. It does work here. I'm actually gaining altitude without using engines, which is sort of my overall game plan. But there's no slack. There's no room for error. There's no air to catch you if you fall. So I will restart the video when we're more over the ice caps. Okay, the altitude is just too high here. I've got the jets on full thrust, and as you see, I'm crawling to a stop here. Very close to the ice caps, but no cigar. Alright, well let's get Shellie out and let's lower the landing gear first in case we ever want to get her to get back. That's a pretty cool picture right there. Check that out. And let's see if we can get her to at least put boot prints on the ice pack here. Yeah, the altitude here is just too high. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the quick save, and next time we're going to explore that region of canyon-like area. Oh, I forget that the jetpacks on Duna aren't the greatest as far as maybe we should try running. How far away is that? A goodly bit of ways. Yeah, actually the nearest spot's right there. Yeah, jetpacks on Duna, not so good. It's kind of a high-risk sport. High speed, high speed. No bueno. Shellie, no! Let's see how close that got us. I think it'll probably work pretty well in those canyon areas, but here, not so much. Ready for another jetpack adventure? Up, up, bunk. Scraping toes. Yeah, this uses jetpack fuel real fast. And we're losing altitude. Oopsies. Oh, Shellie. I'm sorry, girl. Hey, you're skiing. You've invented, invented a new sport on Duna. Jetpack skiing. Yeah. Let's see where the that kind of starts. Right over there. She's about to run out of jetpack juice. Uh-oh. Bad. We're going awful fast over the ground. And we got 21% fuel left. Alright, wow, the terrain really changed there. Good dunk. Sledding! Sledding on Duna. Well, that's pretty cool, the way that terrain changed. Oh. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay. Yeah, what the hell. Go, girl, go! Up. Oh, jetpack failure. Oof. I'm sorry. See how far she has to go. Then we'll get into the proper frozen areas before we call it a day. Okay, Shellie Kerman has made it onto the frigid polar ice caps of Duna. Next time we're going to use our quick save and explore the canyon system at more clement latitudes on Mars in the hopes that that we can see all this area here down here. Hopes that it'll be more more agreeable to my aircraft because it seems like this is fairly high altitude stuff here and the aircraft wasn't working very well. So I'm hoping I can come in and explore all these plains and valleys and stuff by air next time. And that will be cool. Okay, that's it for now, and see you next time.